I remain a House of the Dragon stan, defender, fan. Um, and I think I honestly, this show did make me start believing in the dead internet theory because the season 2 was so poorly received on the internet that I was just like, I don't even know if this is real or fake, or this is bots or whatever, or people just don't like it. But I thought season 2 was so good, and it had so many interesting moments and impactful moments. But because it like was so poorly received, and also I think that George R. R. Martin he's not a fan. And that really got me down. And I never rewatched it, and I wasn't really looking forward to the season 3 premiere. But I'm kind of glad for that because I really did enjoy the season 3 premiere. I thought there were so many, like, the thing that makes House of the Dragon so good is that there are a lot of small character moments that are really artfully done, and you honestly don't see that very much in the original show, especially in the later seasons. And the one scene that I actually cannot stop thinking about in season 3 episode 1, I'm honestly probably going to talk about spoilers, so spoilers, is when Rhaenyra is locked in her room and she's realizing that, like, as a woman, people just don't take her seriously. And even her being, like, one of the most quote-unquote powerful people in Westeros, and, like, she's just seen as an object. And she is losing it, and in the corner the maid is like holding her garment, like her gown, and it's expensive, you know, it's made of expensive material, it has like precious gemstones on it, and her job as the maid is to sort of like upkeep these garments. And Rhaenyra like grabs it out of her hands and just starts cutting it up and like slicing it up, and is just having this tantrum. And it's like so few words and so much is said. And, you know, I feel for Rhaenyra, like, as a woman or as a feminine person in this world, of just being like, what the fuck? Like, I really, like, I've been stripped of power, and, like, the anger that brings up. And at the same time, like, Rhaenyra is spoiled. Like, she's a princess. She is a Targaryen, and she is sort of, you know, she's having a hard time dealing with her lack of power, and she has the privilege to like destroy a beautiful, expensive garment because she has more. And it's good character writing, and it makes you invested in the characters, while at the same time in this whole episode, like, all the interesting characters are making bad choices and bad decisions. This is the other part. I honestly will always be an Alicent fan. I feel like the hate that Alicent gets is unwarranted because the show would not be good without Alicent. Like, Alicent makes bad decisions, and it like moves the plot forward, but the decision she's making, honestly, like, from her perspective, makes sense. Like, she's not perfect, she's doing the best she can, and she's, you know, she's failing. Like, that's what makes characters interesting, is when they like have motivations, but that doesn't save them from their terrible decisions, and they feel like real people. And she really like thinks she's saving her kids and is like making up for not being like the best mother by giving over her son, and then fully realizing like the crazy that her son is. You know, Aemond, that was crazy what he did to her this episode. And she's just like, oh my god, like, I've created these monsters and I don't know how to control them. And I'm just gonna do my best as a mother. moment to moment. Yeah, I mean, the corny parts of House of the Dragon that it seems like people get really up in arms about, I think that people honestly have too high expectations of shows. Ever since season 8, and honestly, outside of Game of Thrones, ever since the ending of Lost, I feel like that is when I truly did realize that shows don't owe you anything. You know, TV, storytelling, they owe you nothing. And investing your nervous system in if the ending of a show you liked that you felt was compelling and that you like kind of tied your identity to, and it ends badly, and that just like being a devastating thing, it's just like not worth it. You know, Game of Thrones, as the books, the show, everything should have taught us this lesson by now. Like, these books are not finished, and maybe they'll never be finished, and that can't detract from what we do enjoy about these shows, and it can't detract from, you know, like our well-being and our mood. You know, we have to accept that there are parts of these shows that just aren't perfect and aren't that great, but we are at least getting fed, like, at least we are having fun. The season 3 episode 1, it was fun enough and interesting enough to take away from some of the corny parts, or even allowing those corny parts to be like campy. Like, remember, you know, Star Trek and Stargate and Xena, and even like I liked that show, The Sword of Truth. Like, these campy fantasy shows have like interesting things to say, and you have to like take the good with the bad. Yeah, I mean, this show, and then the last criticism, you know, I am sick of the 100% kill rate on the ballistas. But that's what I'm saying. It's just like, this is entertainment. And I mean, if it's gonna be stupid, at least I've been gagged. Like, with, I can't remember her name, Rhaella. It's like Bela's sister. Her storyline this episode, it encompassed the whole theme of the show. It said the thesis of the Dance with Dragons is that, like, these Targaryens may have access to these, like, greater intense powers. And the Targaryens believe that makes them deserving of those powers, and it makes them worthy to make decisions for other people, when really they cannot control the dragons. The idea that they control the dragons is an illusion. And she's finally gotten her wish. She gets a dragon, and she is so like in that mode that she thinks she can control it, and she ends up getting more people killed than, you know, she expected, or she thought, or she realized, like, oh my god, I actually am not in control at all. And same, you know, to a lesser degree, like Jace as well, like, they believe that because they have dragons, it like makes them these heroes, these infallible heroes. And real people like die for those consequences. And yet we also like are engaged with these characters. That's what makes the show interesting, is like the characters are compelling, and it's compelling to watch them make these like semi-stupid decisions, because they're also like, there's a really good balance happening. Like, people made a lot of bad decisions this episode, but then like there was also stuff that like came in to their favor, and like they felt like they swayed, or like they moved the needle. I think that this show has been doing a good job of keeping that momentum going. Like, it's, you know, I really do. They've done a good job making it like you're cheering for both sides and you know that both sides can't win. And in fact, like, both sides are eating their own tail, right? They are destroying themselves.